Gotta love when a plan comes together. I am having just an absolute blast learning how to use Rumble and some of the different features here. So I had it one time set up going OBS, streaming through with OBS. Now I have it set up to go directly through Rumble, doing the live stream here, and it's connected to YouTube, Facebook, X. It's got all of this. Set stream redirect after 30 seconds. What's that say? Okay, but I am absolutely loving this. So this is working out pretty good. Today I wanted to bring up something, and it's obvious, right? So here we go. There's this one, right? And then there's this one. Um, I'm obviously into bicycling, so road bike, mountain bike, gravel bike, BMX, cyclocross. It doesn't matter. I love everything with two wheels. And when you think about my power sports background, having worked with Suzuki and all of those things, it just makes sense, that I would talk about things with two wheels. As I've gotten older, I've really started to like the bicycles a little bit more, to be honest with you. Now, here is something that I think is pretty cool to think about. And I want to see if I can do this real quick. Let's do this. Where does this come up at? Ah, there it is. All right, so I can just put that right up in the top. Where's this logo come up at? Yep, right there. I like that. I might leave that up there for a little bit. And then and I've got dynamic overlays too. I've got a banner here. Let's see where this comes up at. Oh, look at that. Um, wow, I could turn this into a whole commercial or TV show. Look at this thing. And so I wanted to talk to you about a wheel, because a lot of people look at a wheel, as it's turning, and they don't realize what's actually happening. And I think that when we compare that to business, entrepreneurship, raising kids, whatever, it's the same thing. We look at it, we think we know what's happening. Logic tells us how it's working, and then it turns out it's something completely different. And so when you look at this wheel here, when you think about the properties of the wheel, you would see that the axle goes in the middle, right? And then it looks like the bike and the rider and everything would be pushing down on these spokes, and the energy is at the bottom of the wheel. That's what it looks like, right? And that's the way that we think that happens. And so we picture it like we're pushing down all the time. Did you know that that's not really how a wheel works? Ironically enough, the stress on the spoke comes from the top. It's like the axle is the weight. It is the weight, and it's hanging down, but it's putting pressure at the top of the spoke. It's actually the part where the wheel is touching the ground that's relieving the stress from the spoke. It's the top of the wheel where the weight is just fully hanging on the spoke that it is putting its energy or its effort. And that to me is fascinating, because visually we see one thing, but the physics of it aren't what we see. It's not what we anticipate or we suspect or we assume. And that happens a lot with business per se. I just went live not too long ago, and I was talking about the value of liking, sharing, following, subscribing, all of those things to people's accounts, because that encourages them to reciprocate, to like, share, and follow. And if we do that in a community kind of way, everything kind of elevates, everything kind of pushes up to the top. But what happens is people are so focused on themselves and what they do. They put the stress on themselves instead of around the wheel. They put the stress on themselves instead of around the wheel. And so what happens is they end up making content, producing content, and thinking that it's going to stand on its own. It doesn't stand on its own. People have to like, share, follow, all those things. I have learned this very much the hard way. I've always been super generous with the liking, the sharing, the following, all that stuff. And I've done it for other people, but I haven't really enforced the idea that people need to reciprocate or do it back. Oh, that's good. And so what has happened is, I've got 1,200 videos on YouTube and 100 subscribers. So if I was to be super, super honest about how that's worked out for me, I would have to say that didn't work out real well. And so that's one of the things that I kind of look at. Like, instead of focusing on that one spoke, it was kind of spread out at the top, right? The wheel's actually hanging from the spokes. It's not what it appears to be. Lots of times I'll be talking to a business, I'll be doing some consulting with a business, and they'll say, oh, we need a new website. Oh, we need this. Oh, we need that. Lots of times I'll be talking to motorcycle dealerships. That's the niche that I really specialize in. And I'll be talking to a motorcycle dealership, and they'll say, oh, we've just got crazy turnover with our technicians. We can't seem to find a good technician. We've had turnover at our service desk. We just can't seem to find good people to be service writers for us. And then they'll make comments about, well, the industry is really hard to get good help for nowadays. And you'll hear this. They're making assumptions based on symptoms, but they're not going to root cause. And so when I think about a wheel failure, see, there's a reason why this is on my mind. My gravel bike has had wheel failure last 3 or 4 times I've ridden it. And I was breaking a spoke at the hub. And so I was assuming it was down here, but it was actually up here. Okay. So the reason that I'm equating all this to business is I talked to a motorcycle dealership owner, and he'll say, I can't find good technicians. The service desk help is lame. The market's just real shy right now. We just can't find good people. That's not the root cause. Like, you've done a great job of outlining some symptoms for me as the consultant, but I'm here to tell you, it's not the motorcycle industry that didn't just die overnight. You kind of helped it along. People leave bad leadership. They leave lack of process. They leave lack of opportunity. And so when we start to examine things for processes and for policies and for internal culture, we start to realize there is a root cause on why this entity begins to fail. So just like you have to take a look at a wheel, how is a wheel put together? It's got the hub in the middle. It's got all the spokes that come out. The spokes go into the rim. There's a certain amount of stress that each one of those spokes has to carry, or else it puts undue stress on a different spoke. So if I don't have the stress around all of those spokes equaled out and at their prescribed stress mark, then other spokes are in danger of breaking under the stress. And so when you're thinking about this motorcycle dealership with the symptoms, and you see a problem with technicians keep leaving, like our best technicians keep quitting. Okay, well, do you think that's the technician's fault? Like, if they're moving to another state because someone in their family died, that's different. That's different. But if you've got someone that's like, yeah, I'm leaving because I'm going to go install cable now, or I'm leaving this industry because I'm going to go do this now, or I'm going to go work on diesel trucks now instead of motorcycles. Okay, do you love motorcycles? Did you like motorcycles? And if you were to do a real discussion with that person, you would find out they're not leaving because they hate motorcycles. They're leaving because they can't make money inside your business. Your business has broken processes that interfere with them being effective and efficient and making money. They can't make customers happy within your business because your processes and your internal culture is keeping them from making customers happy. They can't sell the right product because you're not getting the right product agreements as a business owner with the proper vendors and carrying the right equipment to meet customers' needs. There's always something else to take a look at there. And so that's where I ask people, how is your wheel? How is your wheel? Sounds like a weird question, but how's your wheel? Do you have a strong hub? Do you have a strong rim? Do you have good spokes where you can equalize the pressure all the way around, right? Because if you've got a spoke that's not doing its job, the other ones are working harder, and eventually they're going to snap. And so I ask again, how is your wheel? And that's part of what Mañana Nomás focuses on when we do business consulting. We take a look at, how is your wheel? Do you have a good hub? Do you have good leadership? And that's hard for some business owners because they're like, of course I'm a good leader. That's a weird thing to say, right? Of course, I'm a good leader. No, you've got to, are you a good leader? Like, how do you exercise leadership? How do you communicate with people? Do you have a 360-degree leadership policies? Do you cultivate people for leadership from within the ranks, or do you bring in leaders in externally? There's all of these things that contribute to the internal culture of your business. And so when we consult with these businesses, these are the things that we're focusing on. It's interesting when I get hired as a fixed operations training manager to work with multiple dealerships. The dealers come and they're expecting an easy button. They're expecting a process that where I just go, this is how we double the sales to customers. Boom. You should be fine by next week. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. You have to do the work. You have to take a look at, perception, communication, leadership, internal culture, all of those things. And then everything, once all that is fixed, then we can go to process development and process mapping out what a department actually does to support the customers. And then we can start to see real sustainable growth. But there is no easy button. It takes the work. You always got to do the work. I like that. Now, it says here I can add a new banner. Can I add it on the fly? So if I say do the work, and top, bottom, center, let's say center and a ticker, and create the banner, and turn it on. Look at that, right across the middle. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. If I want to change the position, put it up at the top. Nope, that's not where I want to go. I want to do this one. There we go. Oh, folks, I want to thank you so much for welcoming me in this Rumble arena. Getting used to Rumble and getting used to all the things that it'll do has been fun. I think this is a platform we're going to focus on. I think this is one where we're going to really focus some growth and really getting our anchor in here. The stuff that we do with business consulting is top notch. The stuff that we do in the WordPress environment, helping people with membership and learning websites or just simple marketing e-commerce sites, phenomenal, right? We've got a whole team for that. And the work we're doing here inside Hutchinson, living the agency life and launching an apprenticeship program, it's going to be fun. So again, thank you so much to the Rumble community for adopting us and taking us in like this. I think this is a great platform to play on, and we will see you very soon. Have a great day.